everyone. How's everybody holding up? How's the angle here? Trying to get the live stream to be pretty for everybody. At the same time, Mila is rambunctious. You can hear her playing in the background, so she could attack at any moment. Welcome, everyone. So we have a couple remote viewings from last night that are actually pretty gosh darn cool. But let me start off by saying hi to everybody. Let's just do our regular greeting. Sharon Sipe was the first. Welcome, Sharon. Mary Rice. Yes, it's an incredible painting of Mila. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Mary Rice, Annie Shriek Rizenji. Did I say that right? Hello. Christine, hello. Yes, I'm happy to be with you as well. Let's see who else is here. Stephen Haggerty, hi, how are you? Mary Rice, hello. Linda Casey, Phyllis Rowan, welcome. Celia Torres, thank you. Intuitive Media, Michelle, wonderful. Cindy Femme, hello. Mickey, hello. Holly, thank you so much. That was awfully sweet of you to support the channel. Dusty Rose, hello. Chantel Booth, Egypt is in the house. La Ronda, good to see you. Deborah is in the house. Welcome, welcome. We've got some extraordinary Karen Sinclair, Gina H., El Forrest, Ona Tarot, Angela Johnson, and Noelle. Noelle are our moderators. So thank them for sharing their time with us. So how's everybody holding up? There was a little bit of confusion about some stuff I said. I got some angry comments from people that probably didn't watch my video. Somebody said, stop telling people to hoard water. I said, don't hoard water. If you're super frightened of there not being enough water, though, a great trick for storing water is to wash out all your glass bottles in bleach and hot water and fill them up with tap water. That's what I said. But I don't think that it's necessary. A couple things I saw. The first thing I saw regarding the runs on food, that's going to not be a problem in a very short amount of time because they're just going to start monitoring. The stores are going to start monitoring what people can take. So you can't go in and take like 20 things of peanut butter. It's going to be like 1 or 2 jars per person. And if we all just take a little extra, we should be okay. I'm in semi-quarantine and I said 2 to 3 months food storage and people said, it's only 14 days. Let me clarify so that people understand where I'm coming from. You're not going to know if you have the COVID virus for 4 or 5 days if you're young and healthy. And that's the height at which the virus is shedding. So what's happening is the young and the healthy and the asymptomatic are out running around, working, they're doing deliveries, which is great. I just got back from Trader Joe's. I had a couple things to pick up and it was all young, healthy people, theoretically, that are shedding the virus and don't know it because they're either going to be asymptomatic or they're going to have mild symptoms. It's when we are feeling great and we've been infected those first 4 or 5 days when we are theoretically the most dangerous to vulnerable people we could be having contact with. And so the CDC, Fauci, the people that are in charge have said we should be semi-quarantined. Don't go out unless you absolutely have to. If you've got an extra month of food, that's great. You're feeling fine. That's not the problem. The problem is if you have been out and about, for all you know, you've already contracted it. We can't follow the virus. You know, the virus has been here. I think I've already had it and cleared it for a really, really long time. It's been here. I was going back and I was looking at my data and I think I had it in I think I was probably infected in late January. I started showing symptoms in early February and canceled a couple patients during that time, worked from home. And in about 2-3 weeks, I was fine. But the point is this. is you're not going to know if you're contagious for days. And that can do a lot of damage to the general population. And so part of public health is that we recognize the fact that some people might, even if we ourselves are not vulnerable, we want to be sensitive to the fact that we could be exposing someone who is vulnerable. And that is why, to slow down the numbers, even if you're feeling great and fantastic, it would be a good idea to semi-quarantine, if nothing else, so that you're not a vector for people who are vulnerable. So that's what I did. I slowly over a 1 month period, because I was looking at the data coming out of China, and I thought, you know what, we're probably going to have some problems in a month or two. So I went to the 99-cent store and I picked up an extra bag of this or an extra bag of that. So it didn't put too much pressure on the system. And within a month and a half, I had enough extra stuff so that I'm good. Mila and I are good for about 6 weeks to 2 months before it becomes a problem. But I don't think it's going to be a problem, because I think they're going to start controlling for people who are hoarding, so we can all kind of relax. I just was at Trader Joe's today, and they had a couple empty shelves, but they had a new shipment of frozen stuff, a new shipment of everything, and they were just like opening it up and putting it on as fast as possible. And people were shopping in a very casual way. So I think that people have snapped out of the we can all calm down. Grabbing an extra can of beans or an extra little bit of this, a little bit of that, slowly, over a week or two shouldn't tax the system too much. So that's what I was saying. And no, don't bother with storing water. But be responsible. Don't put yourself in unnecessary risk, and don't put anybody else in unnecessary risk. Act responsibly. So I had a vision last night. I had 2 visions I want to share with people. In the first vision, I was meditating, asking if I could see the infection rate and where the infections were coming from. And so I did a remote view where I was trying to follow the energy of the virus, the infection. And specifically, I focused on the cruises and how the infected people had gotten on the cruises and how the infection rate had spread. And it was carried from the cruises to the planes. And from the planes, I was shown the ventilation system. So right now, publicly, they're saying, oh, don't worry, it's not traveling through the ventilation system. And I would trust the CDC more than me, because science comes first on this channel. We have fun, but we understand that the science rules, right? But that's what I saw. And so that's what I'm going to report, was that it was going through the planes, through the ventilation system. It was infecting people. And then 4 or 5 days later, when they were showing symptoms, that's when they were quarantined. So a couple people came down sick who caught it on the plane. And then the people that they interacted with then got the condition. So here's what I think once this breaks in the CDC, once they figure this out, they could ask airlines to ground their planes so that they can do a deep cleaning, right? So if, say, they found that they find patient 0 flying on a Delta flight, and they say, okay, we found patient 0. So the problem now is that, say I'm patient 0, and I got on a Delta flight, and then I had a transfer to American Airlines, or I have a transfer to another flight, then I've now put it through the ventilation system of multiple airlines, because I'm transferring. And I'm also running through the crowds of the airports, right? Spreading and then transferring. So we could see an agreement that all of the flights be temporarily shut down while they do a deep cleaning of the entire area. And something like that could happen. And it just takes one infected person going through the airport to create another situation. So we could see voluntary closing down of certain lines just to do a deep cleaning. Sounds kind of draconian. It's going to be financially a bit of a disaster. But those were the 2 things that I saw regarding infection rates, airplanes, mass transportation, and extra steps, rather draconian. So if you're stuck in someplace on vacation And the worst thing that's going to happen is you're going to have to spend an extra week in Hawaii or wherever if you get stuck somewhere when they are grounding planes trying to do these types of choreographed cleanings. So the other thing that I saw, and this was really cool, is I was meditating on how can we help the people who are having the condition the most severe symptoms. Like, what are we going to do? Because China built hospitals within a few days. And I graduated University of Washington. I was pre-med University of Washington. And I found myself back on the University of Washington, and next to the University of Washington is University of Washington Medical Hospital. And when I did the remote of the University of Washington, which is a dead zone right now, all the students are home doing their classes online, I found myself in the labs of the biology department, the chemistry department, and I went, oh, I'm back in the labs. I remember these labs, you know, making aspirin and all those fun things we did when we were taking those chemistry courses. And then the thought came to me, so I imagine it's in the ethos that the schools can be converted to triage units. So that seemed to be the message that Spirit was saying, because you're already set up. University of Washington is already set up. You've already got areas that can be sterilized. You've already got labs, lab equipment. You can sterilize and get your bags prepped. They've got tons of classrooms that are shut down that can be used for emergency hospital procedures. And the hospital is just across the street. So the universe loves to recycle. Rather than driving ourselves crazy with the Army Corps of Engineers, some of that's going to be needed. The message I got back from Spirit is do an account and reckoning of your high schools, see what kind of chemistry lab they've got, see what kind of facilities they already have, and see if they can quickly be converted into triage units. So if you are in the public health sector, whether it's here in the United States, Great Britain, and France, that was the message from Spirit. Go in, do an account and reckoning of any of those types of buildings, get your public health people in there and convert them. And you can do that within 24 to 48 hours and you'll be ready to go. Okay. Any questions before we start doing blitzes? From what I saw in the remote, and I would trust the CDC more than my remotes, I'm going to be very humble here because I'm an honest reader. It looked like it was getting through the vents, and it looked like the airports and the planes were a major area of contamination, and that we're going to see them addressing this issue in a very short amount of time, and most of us are going to be just fine. But this is hard on the economy. I don't see food shortages. I think they're going to start controlling it. Our country produces plenty of food. We can take a deep breath. There's still going to be avocados. I was looking at the avocados on sale today when I was at Trader Joe's. It was like $6 for something. I thought, I can't eat all those avocados. So I just passed it by. Where's Rudy? Yeah, let's go ahead and get organized here with play. You know, we're bored. We're spending time. I'm trying to be responsible. I'm also trying to be more prayerful. I think that's something that we can all do. Oh, that was the other thing Spirit wanted to talk to people about. I would like my fellow bodhisattvas, my fellow good people here, if you know anyone who's vulnerable, senior citizen who can't get groceries, I would, in addition to doing an account and a reckoning of your own home, reaching out to public health and doing what we can to help, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. If you could, through Facebook, through social media, et cetera, find vulnerable adults and see what you can do to, make them, bring them some food, packaged cans of food, things that can be heated up like soup, etc. It's not particularly expensive. If you've got an extra can in your cupboard, some canned goods, just check on your fellow citizens and help one another. You can be the hero, right? You can be the hero in your community. You can start calling vulnerable relatives, vulnerable people in your community and saying, hey, you need some chicken soup? I've got a couple cans. Just reach out and just keep checking in every couple of days. Again, because you yourself could be infected with no symptoms or mild symptoms. I had very mild symptoms. I'm pretty sure I had it and I had pretty mild symptoms. But the point is this, is that because you don't know, universal precautions are you act as if you do have it. That's why people are wearing the mask in healthcare, so that they don't spread it, because they're assuming until proven otherwise that they have it. And yes, you can test negative and still have it if it's early enough in the disease process that you aren't you aren't shedding enough of the virus. You could have a false negative, which is why we want to retest if you've had an exposure. New York schools and people who are vulnerable. I would say if you're vulnerable and if you don't have enough food and supplies, then ask for help. And I know people in this community are good people and we would love to help. So, maybe we can coordinate through. I'm more than happy to convert this channel and everybody else. Let's go ahead and convert our channel so that we can just start helping the most vulnerable in this community. I know we have people in all 50 states who watch this channel. Yeah, so if you are vulnerable, if you do need help, let us know what state you're in if you don't have enough of something, and maybe we can choreograph something here. Also, let's choreograph through our Facebook channels, etc. Be like the King of Wands, right? All right. Yeah, I mean, like I'm saying, don't hoard. That was not what I was saying. But, you're going to really help the CDC. You're going to really help the people that are trying to help if you get off the roads. Look, if you've got ambulances coming to and from, do you really need to be out partying? Pull it back a little bit. Like I said, a couple extra cans when you go shopping is not going to break. It's not going to break things. I'm in what we call semi-quarantine. I can't sit in this room 24 hours a day not moving. So what I'm doing is I'm doing social distancing. I let myself go out of the house once an hour for an hour every day. I go for a walk. Everybody runs from you too, because it's LA County and we have a big problem here in LA County. But it's cool. Everybody's being very respectful. And so I did a little walk around the park. Of course, there were all these young people that were like hugging and kissing. We're fine. We're young. And I was thinking, yes, but you could be vectors. And then I went into Trader Joe's because I was fascinated, but I also had to get more walnuts and chocolate. Yeah, Mark, you'll be all right. You're a young, healthy, handsome sort of fella. You're taking good care of yourself. You're being responsible. So, and we all want to wish Mark a belated happy birthday. He is 29 again and looking fabulous. Sorry I missed your birthday party. Let's do a blitz on. Come on, let's get together. Let's try and be cheerful. The good news is this puts Elizabeth Warren in a wonderful position where she's starting to be listened to. Oh, a couple things. I forgot to tell you the remote about Donald Trump. Yeah, I think his presidency is over. I think we're looking at a Pence presidency for 9 months, and I think it's a little bit depressing, quite frankly, that people have free choice and they don't use it. But I think we're going to be seeing him pretty much as the acting president by April. I think that they're transitioning towards that, and I think it's going to be as good a transition as it can be, considering somebody said, I'm out of here because you said Pence was doing a good job. He's doing a good job because he's finally letting the scientists take charge of the situation. And that's a good thing for Pence. Pence is learning what science is, which is great considering the fact that Pence believes the earth is 6,000 years old. So this is good for Pence. All right, let's do a simple prayer. We'll do a general reading and then we'll go in and we'll do a blitz. I want to call on white light protection for myself and my viewers as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and good angels to be with us. Give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys so that we can help those we love. We can help the planet. We can help our families. We can help those we have strife with. Let's just help ourselves and help one another. Be kind. We are descended from an amazing tribe, all of us. We all are family. We've been here before. It was 18 people 200,000 years ago in sub-Saharan Africa, and they decided when stuff hit the fan that they were going to cooperate, put their differences aside, and love and help one another. And those were the only humans that survived. All the other tribes around the world went extinct. That was about 200,000 years ago. So amen, amen, amen. Those are our ancestors. And, we say that our ancestors lived through us. So their remarkable ability to understand that love and cooperation is the way to survive is something that we've inherited. Isn't that powerful? It's a powerful thing to think about. Just 18. Humans lived in Europe. They lived in Asia. These early humans, but there was one group that was hanging out in sub-Saharan Africa that did things differently, and that is the only group that did not go extinct, and that was love and cooperation. Evolutionary theory of cooperation, survival and cooperation. It's not survival of the fittest. Survival of the fittest is associated with extinction, by the way. Like a dog-eat-dog, is associated with extinction because it's every man for himself, and so you don't cooperate and you don't work together, and then you end up having poor public health. And it's a problem. All right, let's look at New York. How's New York going to be? I keep seeing schools being converted to triage units. The kids aren't there. Get the kids out. You don't need the Corps of Engineers. We don't have time. They've got double sinks, faucets. Use them. Keep seeing chemistry rooms. Yeah, the sun's coming out. Look at this. You have the Two of Swords, which we keep getting. I keep getting this as our base card. This is to withdraw from the world. This is probably because a lot of us are semi-quarantined. And again, what I was going to say is that that's going to help the hospitals and the ambulances, etc., do what they have to do. If we're running around, pulling back a little bit, I always try to be mindful of the fact that even though I'm healthy, I don't want to be creating unnecessary strain for those people who do need help right now. But you can see a nice 10 of Cups is coming in. That's family. This is the time for us to put politics aside and really help each other. See that nice 10 of Cups, the family of man, the family of humankind. Isn't that positive? Where we are at right now, holding pattern. This is specifically about New York, but you can see here on New York that they're going to start having cooperation and working together with the Two of Wands coming in, and this is the Entrepreneur's card. So we're going to see probably private businesses and the government and the schools. Everyone's going to help. Everyone's going to help. Cato is coming. Mila, hello. You see me talking, but you don't know to who. Hello, Cato. Let me move this. So the Empress card moving in, the Treasure Trove, it's an abundance card, the Karma. I think that what we're going to see out of New York is a tremendous amount of assistance between the private and the public sector You can see here a nice Knight of Cups moving in with the Empress card and a Judgment. Look at these beautiful major arcana cards too. New York has a great soul, and people will really come together and help each other. I love these cards. Look at these major arcana cards, very positive. Where they're at right now, they're looking, searching for options, 7 of Cups. They'll take any help they can get. What is around them? Contracts. They're getting contracts. Again, I keep seeing the same thing. The public and private sector coming together and building bridges and contracts in order to deal with this situation. Thank you, Bob, for the donation. It's very sweet of you. The hope and the fear are inheritance, are what we have to hold on to. And then the final outcome is the Star. New York's going to be fine. It's going to be intense, but you're going to start seeing incredibly creative. Look at this, because this is also creativity and abundance, karma, offers, Knight of Cups. This is entrepreneur, business, partnership. This is looking for multiple options, where New York is at. Look at these contracts coming in, probably between the private and public sector. Hopes and fears, what we will inherit. But you can see a nice star coming in from New York. And the clarification here, a new beginning, right? It's by spring. And the contracts, it's going to cost the feds some money. You can see a grief card over the feds. Hopes and fears, getting the information. It's strain. Look, they're going to get through this, but the emotional and psychological strain on the system is something that they're really going to have to, there's a lot of strain. And so if they can do things cost effective now, if this thing continues on for months, the best thing you can do is do not spend a lot of money now. Frugal, frugal, frugal. Use what you already have, New York. Use what you already have. Convert what you already have, because this could go on a while. That's the spiritual lesson here, or the advice from Spirit. The best way I could interpret these cards is reach out to everybody, ask everybody to help, pitch in, help where you can, and use existing structures. Okay. What are we doing next? Ah, Shepes, you're so sweet. I want to look at Europe. I'm going to look at Italy next. Oh, look at that. That was Italy. That popped out pretty. The Pope, le Papa. Le Papa. All right. How you doing, Italy? Love Italy. We had so much fun, my sister and I, in Italy. I don't think Trump's pardoning anybody. I think his career is over. I think that this is what the readers were seeing. I don't think he's running again. I don't think he's going to be reelected. I think Biden, hopefully, if he keeps himself healthy, if not, and I think that Elizabeth Warren is going to be a huge part of the coming administration. If she's not the president, but at the very least, I can tell you this right now from the remotes. People in Wall Street would be happier with Elizabeth Warren right now than Donald Trump. The people with the money, because this kind of crazy instability costing $1 trillion a day every time the president tweets, it's not good for their bottom line. When we'd accessed the records on Donald Trump, Bloomberg is not the only person from Wall Street that is done with this president. He's not stable. He's not a stable influence. I mean, I have no ill will for this president. You know, I try to love everybody. I just think that he's an incredibly unstable influence for the government, and that's why. What's this? Chef has checked the dollar sign on your right corner of the. Oh, she's giving instructions to somebody. Anyway, so let's look at Italy. And I think the other lesson here is public health, public health, public health, because Europe has public health and we're still seeing that they're having a problem. So this is a hard lesson. This is what, it says that my connection is unstable. Everybody still getting it? Yes, that beautiful music people were singing in Italy. Love Italy. Oh, family, cooperation, helping, inheritance, frustration. They're frustrated by. When I go into the energy on Italy, there's this feeling of anger and frustration that the government of Italy is corrupt. This is what the people are saying to me when I go into the Italian energy. They're maybe it's because of corruption, the mob, etc. But there's a feeling of anger and frustration about potentially missing money or misappropriation of funds in Italy. I know Italy has been challenged with corruption, the mob, etc., for a while, and you could see some anger and backlash from the people as a result of that. Working very hard, coming together, but with a great sense of nobody has a sense of humor like the Italians. Let me tell you that right now. Ten of Wands moving in. They are. You know what they're saying? They're saying that it reminds them of World War II. That about getting ready, storing extra, getting organized, that they have the memory from the war, and that the older adults are kind of taking it in stride. They're they're getting things ready because they've kind of been down this road before. There's strife. It's a sense of humor, but some genuine worry, grief. There's a real anger and discontent. This could change elections in the future in Italy. We could see a dramatic change in the political environment in Italy as a result of this, because the Four of Cups is coming in. The people could, if the current administration in these countries, particularly the nationalists, the countries that were cutting public health and centralizing things towards the wealthy and cutting funding to the poor, those folks are probably going to be out of there, because there's anger developing in Italy from the people that the people were not properly protected, and this new frugality. So it's going to really highlight in Italy corruption, and I just see corruption, the courts, and the people getting rid of a lot of corrupt politicians as a result of this. Getting misinformation about whether or not things are done, whether or not there's also some public misinformation that could be coming up that is going to be a source of frustration for the Italians. They'll be told that they can go out and then be told that they can't go out. So there's a little bit of confusion here with the Moon card coming in. But yeah, this does not bode well for elections that are coming up in many European or in many countries all over the world, because the holes, the ways in which those countries, those governments were irresponsible towards the people, is definitely going to be heightened, and it's going to cost some people the election. I'm just going to check on the United Kingdom. Okay. Let's see here. How you doing? See, this is something else that came up, because Britain broke with the EU. So if the EU has money and services available to members of the EU in the event of a pandemic, are they still obligated to use those limited resources to help Great Britain? What do y'all think? You wanted to go it alone. If they have limited supplies in the EU, do they take care of the EU first? I don't know. I don't know. How do people from Britain feel about this? I'd like their opinion. Let's look at Great Britain. They're not in the same situation as Europe. I'm very concerned that Britain is going to respond to this by shutting their doors even more. You can see a Two of Swords. Every time I shuffled lately, I've been getting Two of Swords as a base card. It's crazy, but there's a Ten of Swords coming in. I'm very worried that they isolated themselves to such an extent that they have also isolated themselves from potentially getting help from Europe. I don't like this Ten of Swords moving in for Great Britain. The court's coming. See, they created a legal mess for themselves at the worst possible time, being in the middle of this. Watching them, they're very concerned about trade. Look at that. They're very concerned about laws regarding trade contracts that are up in the air with Europe, etc., could be delayed. The problem is that they're in a legal limbo right now with resources and access to resources out of Europe potentially lagging, limited, unavailable. Negotiating some kind of assistance with the outside world with the King of Cups in the 4th house and a Hanged Man in the 3rd. Damn! It's about the trade. Look at this. The money, the transfer of money, the assistance, the investment, the world market, the law, a crash. I would say Great Britain's market is going to suffer. I think that there's going to have to be some serious conversations about where they stand on trade. And it's going to be difficult going from April to June of 2020. They're going to have to renegotiate. Look at this. King of Cups coming in the 4th house, the negotiator, the healer, and then a Temperance negotiation card as a final outcome. The hope and fear is the partnership. And then working hard. Same kind of energy, a feeling like they've been here before, like during the Second World War. It's that kind of a feeling of hauling and prepping. Yeah, I think that they're going to have to reopen their relationship to some extent with the EU just in order to stop this. It's a legal disaster. It's a legal mess. Because of the trade, the contracts, everything got delayed. Nobody knows what to do. What a mess. It is buffering. I'm sorry. I don't know what Salome's comment is about. This has to do with existing trade and companies, and they're in the middle of a mess. Okay. Let's do another blitz. Do people want me to look at politicians next? Yeah, the stores, thanks for mentioning that, Texarkana. The reason why the stores are going to be stabilized pretty soon is because they're just controlling how much stuff goes out. And like I said, I was just at Trader Joe's and they were restacking everything and people were very calm and they were just taking one of everything. So I think it's going to be fine. William Barr, let's do William Barr. How you doing, William Barr? How you doing? People adapt. You know, it's human nature. People adapt. He's got a lot of staff out. You know, when I go into his remote, I'm at work, and I see a lot of people are missing. So a lot of stuff has been put on hold. It's a feeling like they're trying not to overwhelm the Justice Department right now, and really focusing on what they have to do because some people are not at work. That's the first thing he's telling me. Trying to keep things organized. He has to give up this micromanaging he does because some of his most important people who are at high risk have had to step back. I keep seeing an audit. I keep seeing the powers that be, whether it's the Barr Association, something has happened with Barr where he is under investigation, and that means that he has to show or present. It looks like an audit. That's the best way for me to describe it. He's having to write almost like a justification. It's like a timeout, or something's happening where he's being watched and he's having to explain his legal decisions. And there have been formal complaints made by Congress, formal complaints made by Adam Schiff, reports made its way to the Bar Association, etc. And that is what put him under investigation. That's the best way for me to say it. I see him pulling back from the Justice Department, and he would be advised to resign before he gets into a situation where he's facing criminal investigation. I think my advice to him with these cards is for him to do exactly what he's doing, which is to not overwhelm the system at this time, and they're just focusing on the things they need to be focusing on, and for him to gently get out of there. If he hired me for a reading, I would say you got to go, but slip out of there in a way where, I'm the advocate of anybody who comes to get a reading from me. Even if William Barr hired me, I'd be like, buddy, you better get out of there. These cards are not good. Yeah, I think Trump probably should resign. There's a lot of pressure on him that I was getting. When I did the remotes, I kept seeing them giving him the honor of resigning. They lost $2 trillion on the market from 2 tweets and from a couple interviews. And it's probably time to, go with Biden. They know Biden. They're friends of Biden. I think Elizabeth Warren goes a little too far, but they're now starting to see things her way. All right, let's do Rudy Giuliani. Rudy Giuliani. Oh, he's in trouble with the law. You can see the Knight of Swords moving in with the with the Wheel of Fortune. What a crazy, crazy story with him. Ha! Look at this. He had these really complicated ways that he was moving money for people as their lawyer. This is the guy that knows how to hide money from the feds so that he can get it to the people he needs, the coin juggler. This is also the guy that would explain it to the feds. Well, here was our scheme to avoid taxes. It always goes back to the money with these folks. How to break the law or skirt the law so that they don't have to pay their share of taxes. Whether it's hiding it in cryptocurrency or paying a third party, or it always comes down to the money with them. The flim flam man, the juggling money, hiding financial interest, the hidden queen of finance, the partnerships. This was something that's come up in the past. It does look like Giuliani has an exit plan. If worse came to worse, he does have a way of getting out of the country if he needed to. There's a chariot card moving in. He did create like an island getaway for himself. Not saying he'll do it, but he does have an exit plan. Yeah, look. Chariot, to move, to flee. Sixth house with the Three of Wands looking over the water. Three of Wands, get your wish partnership. Entrepreneurs card with Two of Wands. Not sure what to do right now. Walking away. This is showing some kind of walking away or ending, possibly shutting down his business. Also, he could potentially be cooperating or giving states evidence in the future about how money was shifted and moved. There is a possibility that he does have a way of leaving New York, leaving that area if worse came to worse. He did have an exit plan set up in the case, in a worst case scenario kind of a situation. This is the kind of guy that would throw all the documents at the feds and then hop on a plane. Just with these types of cards, you know, the flim flam, the expert at hiding coin, moving coin, revealing the coin with a partnership card here in the third house, fleeing, looking across the waters, the Justice Department, Two of Swords, hear no evil, see no justice blind, hopes and fears, going it alone, hermit card, defending his territory, and then Seven of Cups, looking at multiple options. Page of Swords comes, archetype is Archangel Michael. Either he will face some kind of legal situation or he'll cut a deal where he hands information and then gets out of there, either figuratively or literally. What fun is that? I would agree with Johnny because the cards that everybody's getting are 9 months with Pence. I get people unliking me and unsubscribing me when I say things like that. I'm really not an interesting person. My opinion means nothing. I'm just a remote viewer. I'm just using an old meditation technique that anybody here can learn to do. And by the way, thank you everyone who is doing the 5-step remote technique and then emailing me what you're seeing, because I would say 9 times out of 10, you're getting the same exact remote that I am. So that's kind of cool if you're a scientist that you can compare remotes. And then you start to realize you're all seeing the same exact stuff. So yeah. Let's see what's going on. Don't know what that's about. Yes, for entertainment purposes only. Absolutely. Any other questions? Are we good? One more question before we close. Somebody had asked earlier about Nancy Pelosi. Do we still want to do Nancy Pelosi or do we want to do somebody else? Oh, I don't care about Dominic. I'm sorry. I know you want to see Mueller. I don't know if he's relevant right now. Something that's relevant. Fox News. Ooh, that would be cool. Okay, well, if you want to bring Salome back, but we don't want to be calling people stupid or saying that, it's the language thing. We want to be respectful. Oh, okay. Well, where is Salome now? I don't know. I'm trying to do two things at once. Okay. All right. So people are saying Fox News first, and then we'll do Pelosi. Oh, McGain. Okay. Let's see what we can do here. Let's do Fox News first. It's a great way to be in quarantine, right? Two of Wands, cooperation. So we're going to see more lovey-dovey cooperation, even with Fox News, with the Two of Wands and a Knight of Cups coming in. They're worried about their ratings, and they're worried about their viewership getting angry. They're watching the bottom line. So we're going to see them moving more towards cautious information regarding the crisis. But you can see the money cards. Look, I think they're going to dump the president and go and so just because of how these cards are falling with the money and with the information, trying to get things into stuff. I keep seeing changes at Fox News that are positive in the future. Yeah, world connection, chariot card. I would not be surprised. Oh, look at this, a new contract. I think that Fox is going to get sold, or a new group of people are taking over Fox. I always see this, a group of young people, and I think they're going to slowly turn Fox around in a different direction. But because we're seeing a Knight of Cups, which is more the love energy, a new partnership, Three of Pentacles, new contract with the world. You can see, the energy is changing. That's the best way to describe it. I'm not seeing devil. I'm not seeing Trump at all. I'm not seeing Pence at all. I'm seeing young people, young progressives, young moderate Republicans. There's this change of cooperation, steering the boat to clearer waters, smoother waters, a Six of Pentacles coming in to help after information is exposed. Victory in their finances, but it has to do with cooperation and a more peaceful, less warlike message coming out. It's like the old guard changes as a result of this, and a new energy comes in. Okay, so that's good news for Fox. It's good comedy. Trump is good comedy if you're a conservative. He's like a conservative shock jock comedian. But that's not what the country needs right now. All right, Don McGahn. How do you say it? Don McGahn? Don McGahn? Don McGahn? Don McGahn, that's right. All right, what's going on with Don McGahn? I'm telling you, Wall Street's done with this president. They can't afford him. Rather than everybody going down, the right thing to do, they're telling the president, is to resign. That's what the Republicans are coming to. If they, they're trying to keep themselves safe. They're trying not to get hammered too hard by their constituents. Let's take a look. Wants to put the past behind him. Look, this grief about the past. The Queen of Swords comes as his archetype. Damn. Talk about a guy. Woo! This guy's in a freaking corner. Look at this. Look at this. The judge comes with the 9 of Wands. He's going to be forced to do things he doesn't want to do. Somebody is holding him accountable legally, and he doesn't like it. Yeah, he's going to have to hand over documents, or he's going to have to hand something over. He's going to have to cooperate because the Queen of Wands comes in, a 9 of Wands. He feels 9 of Swords in the near future, 6th house. The 11th and 12th card, grief, and then the Queen of Swords, putting the past behind him. Just that. Yeah. He loses. It looks like some legal decision happens with him, despite his best efforts at protecting certain information. There's a legal and financial decision that does not bode well for him, and he's not going to be too happy about it. You can see he's in the tower in the coming weeks. Card 11 and 12. I always start with card 11 and 12 because those are my bases. Grief. I think there's something about a female judge or some kind of female in a position of power too. This is how he identifies himself. So he's attempting boundaries regarding his this legal situation, but I don't think he's going to win. Look at that. Look at that stress. Look at this tower in the law. Interesting. Very funny, Ian. All right, let's look at Nancy Pelosi. These conservatives, I've been watching YouTube, that are saying, "Oh, it's just the flu. Relax, y'all being ridiculous." I watch. I watch a lot of different people giving financial advice. I think Dave Ramsey's kind of entertaining. He's kind of mean, but he needs to stop giving medical advice because that's not what he does. It's not helping people. Okay. Let's look at Nancy Pelosi next. How you doing? How you doing, Miss Nancy? Okay, here's the thing that Pelosi is saying when you go into her energy. Her job is to keep her house in order. That's her job, right? Her job is only to keep her house in order. That's her responsibility. Here's the problem. A lot of people in this administration don't have their house in order, or there's no longer a house because the president has gutted the infrastructure so much that even though the house is in order, once they hand these policies or these decisions over to those departments are so gutted and so disorganized. That's the frustration for Nancy Pelosi when you sit in her shoes. I got it together. I got the bill passed. I've got all this stuff organized. But what you're doing over there in Kentucky, I have no control over. What you're doing over there in that department that he got, I have no control over. Angela Johnson, do we need to remove that person? Or we can just hide them. So that's the main thing I get from Nancy Pelosi, is this frustration that the infrastructure is not there for some of the departments that she's attempting to release money and help and aid to. All she can do is control her department. That's how I felt when I sat in her shoes, is that frustration. Yeah. This wiggy energy. What did Marianne Williamson call it? She had a name for it. It wasn't wiggy. What did she call it? But it's that kind of energy. She's, you have on the one hand, everything is nice, it's organized, it's ready to go. Nancy Pelosi, boom, 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 boom. Everything is wiggy. I think that is the word she used. But then you've got the Two of Pentacles is what she's dealing with. It's this back and forth. It's this confusion. It's this gaslighting. It's this emotional immaturity. Oh, my signal was off. I'm sorry. Wonky. Yeah. Wonky. She's trying to deal with departments that are wonky. She's drawing strength from existing alliances. Six of Cups is moving in, which is old alliances returning. So I like that. It means that there's cooperation happening, right? Star card moving in with the Emperor, which I'm assuming is the president's card in relationship to her, and a new beginning starting in spring. New offers. Two of Cups. Look at this. Sacred contracts, new beginning with the presidency. Old alliances returning. Look at this. What is around her, negotiating with those around her, hopes and fears. She's worried about death toll. She's worried about the economy. She's worried. She's a good person. And the final outcome is she gets the money to the people. Look at that. Page of Pentacles moving in. That is her responsibility, is to get the finances where they're needed. She's concerned about the infrastructure in the areas that are getting the resources. She's concerned about outward influence. And she's worried about the system being exhausted in the coming weeks. Look at that, exhaustion of the system. The system is going to be overwhelmed in the next 2-3 weeks, and that the only way to get past this is to start having relationships with one another and cooperating. If people can't put their dogma on the side, it's going to cost lives. So we need to stop bashing each other. That's not helping right now. And it's in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Let's stop attacking one another. You're not helping. I think that the finances and the resources are going to be overwhelmed in the next 2 to 3 weeks. And now is the time for the lovers, the cooperation, new beginning. Everyone needs to be on the same page. We don't have the luxury anymore of arguing with each other and insulting each other. We used to have the luxury of sitting around saying, I don't like that politician. It doesn't matter. None of that matters anymore. Got to help each other. Nothing else matters. Nothing else ever mattered. Wandering Eyes wanted to be a moderator, and I had to wait until she came back on. So Wandering Eyes is now our new moderator. We want to give a hello to Wandering Eyes and thank her for volunteering as a moderator. All right. Somebody had asked me to look at Snowden to see how he's doing. What's Snowden's first name? What? Menopause. Is Kushner using it as a business partner? Probably. Okay. Snowden. Edward. See, I was going to say Eric. No, it's Edward. Edward Snowden. How you doing, Edward? I want to do the economy before we close, too. There's a new beginning happening for him, but he cannot rely on help from Russia anymore. If he's getting help from an outside country or something like this, the fact that the Five of Pentacles is coming in could indicate that he's being abandoned or that he's going to be losing support from whoever's supporting him. There's a feeling like he may be thrown out to dry. New beginnings with the Queen of Cups and the Three of Pentacles would suggest that he's working on some kind of a deal, negotiating some kind of a deal in the future. Coming into his power, a nice Magician card in the 4th house. 3rd house is about new partnerships. It's what he sits in or marinates. But look, he's going to have to change up his partnerships or who he's working with because 5 of Pentacles is poverty card moving in. Secrets. This is an inheritance card, but I also read it as a secrets card. There's the money, Tower, confusion. I think he's going to sit back and watch the confusion. I think he's going to lose some support from some areas and have to create new support elsewhere. I think he could have some kind of a deal with the United States where it's a less serious sentence than he had thought. There's something here because you can see the Queen of Cups, which is cooperation, mediation with a new contract, and the fact that he's in a position of power with the Magician. But at the same time, he's losing old alliances and new alliances are beginning. You can see the 11th and 12th card, a new beginning, and then possibility of a loss of assistance with poverty or a feeling of exile with the 5 of Pentacles. Yeah, I think he's going to lose some support. It's going to force him to have to enter into moderation with a new group of people, and potentially he might get a lesser sentence if he does if he makes a deal with the feds. Yeah, just remove them permanently if we have. All right, we're going to go ahead and look at the economy for 2020. I'm going to go ahead and close the reading. Thank everybody for joining me. It's going to be all right, everybody. If you can't stay in 24 hours a day, give yourself an hour to go take a walk. Like I said, the main reason it's not just for your safety. It's also we don't want to. We want to just lay low and let everybody that needs to be out do their job. Look at the economy. Meditate. Help people in your community. Nightly meditations, praying for those who are sick. This month, if people can, we can put our charity money towards helping organizations on the front line, please reach out to me and let me know about good charities that we can give to this month as well. And thank you to everyone who watches the commercials and donates. Okay, the economy. I'm scared. So Cash Peters, who I love, he's a friend, and he's a shockingly good reader, because he's like, should I share this? And the guy has given me a reading. He said, you're going to be fine financially. Like he saw everything was going to be okay financially for me, and that I was going to have this windfall. And he was right. I did. There was some finances that came in for me. He said, but then I think you might lose it all. My Roth IRA tanked. But I'm just keeping it there. I'm not moving money or anything. I just, the experts are coming in on the economy. Look at that. And I keep seeing Elizabeth Warren. People are listening to her in a way they never did before. Look at the experts coming in. 11th card is the Fool card, but the good news is you have the 12th card being the Mastery card over the finances. First card, bad habits. Let's all be careful about our bad habits with money. Don't spend money you don't need to spend. Be smart. Oh, the bad habits. The illusion of the economy, the problems with the economy, the fact that it was very delicate when President Obama left the economy. He put protections in place and then said, be very careful, don't do A, B, C, and D, because it's just recovering. It's like you just got over a really bad flu, but you're still kind of weak. That was kind of how Obama viewed the economy. Like, I've put some stuff in place, we've stabilized the patient, but you don't want to do A, B, and C right now. And they proceeded to do A, B, and C. Unfortunately, that put us in a pretty bad situation. You can see the Devil card and the Wheel of Fortune there. Sun card coming in, which is the August time, what we sit in, new partnership, experts. I think Elizabeth Warren is going to be very important in the coming months. More hard work to stabilize things, the cooperation, family, inheritance, protection, a focus on things of inheritance, the finances. That becomes the main focus. The family inheritance. What is around, what we can hang up, the hopes and the fears coming out, and the 10 of Cups. So it's going to be a very aggressive time going up into summer of 2020. There's going to be some decisions made by the experts in order to protect one's nest egg, one's family, one's nest egg. But unfortunately, some serious mistakes were made, and they're going to have to clean this mess up. Look at that, 10 of Wands, cleaning the mess up, working. Yeah, we're going to come out of this. It'll stabilize by September, probably around September 2020. Wow. Did everybody have fun? It's a crazy time we live in. All right. Thanks, everybody, for the love and the support of the channel. Go ahead and send me an email if you know of an excellent charity that helps vulnerable people during this crisis. We can go ahead and send them a little something while we all pull ourselves up. Oh, here is another person who's going to have to be. Oh, yeah. We've already hid them. Okay. Did everybody get their questions answered? Y'all feeling okay? Don't be scared. You'll be all right. Just keep your home clean. Don't go crazy. Give yourself a little bit of a permission to, if you're relatively healthy, with some social distancing, maybe take yourself for a little tiny walk. Once a day, get some fresh air if you can. If you're vulnerable and you need help, please reach out to your community. If you would like to organize care packages, etc., through this channel, and if you need a care package, we will go ahead and we'll convert the channel starting today so that we can start connecting our angels, our fellow angels, good people, bodhisattvas, with those in our community who are in need. All right. Thanks, everyone. Love and light. If you're still trying to get in for a reading, I have openings starting next week. You can go to tarotwithwhimsy.com. If you need to see me as a doctor, you can go to drwhimsy.com, DOCTORWHIMSY.com, and I'm available, but only for telemedicine, not in person right now. Thanks a lot, everyone. We'll see you next time. Peace out.